Laurie Chuslo has called Virginia her home for the past 28 years, although she'd still tell you that she's from Massachusetts. She has spent her life primarily working with children, and for the past 11 years has been an educator in the public school system. When she's not tackling a home project, gardening, or cooking, her true passion, she practices clicking her ruby red flip-flops in hopes of finding herself by the ocean, her place of solace. Today, Laurie is sharing her heartfelt personal story in the hopes of making a difference.
Letting the light in. A year ago, I was so drawn to this show, and I sat with my sister right there in the audience. Divine intervention, some say. So glad I listened to that little voice. The show's name encapsulated my emotions. I wanted to scream from the rooftops, "Me too, this is my brave, this is all of it." The unexpected journey I was on was kicking my ass. At times, I wasn't sure if I could take another breath. My sanity and strength were constantly being tested. I so wanted to twitch my nose or click my heels to go back in time before that horrific day changed me forever. See, I really thought that I had lived the darkest days growing up with a parent suffering from depression and a couple suicide attempts. The challenges, the scariness, the constant worry, and the unwritten rule, it was to remain a secret. I have struggled with my own anxiety, and I have worked very hard to stay on top of. And most days, it's under control. Although today, as I started to feel quite anxious thinking about talking in front of so many of you, they say you have to have fear to find courage. Well, I do, and I have. And this is my story. Actually, let me give my son's story a voice. His name is Nathaniel. He's a big brother, a grandson, a nephew, a cousin, a friend. He loved pretending to be anything other than a human being. And every short walk, even to get the mail, turned into an adventure. Along the way, I collected memories, and he collected pockets full of treasures. He's very handsome, caring, prides himself in making others laugh, and pretty sure he loves animals more than humans. He's a young man with a sensitive soul, and he turned to self-medicating, and in the process, became an addict. He had been in rehab once before, and in September 2013, he reached out with marks all over both wrists, and as I gently held them in my hands, I remember saying, "No more," repeatedly. And it was that day he asked for help, defied that demon, and soon entered rehab for the second time. He embraced being clean, going to meetings, and voluntarily entered an 3-month outpatient program. However, the journey back wasn't easy. The rabbit hole of addiction he fell into this time was so much wider and deeper, with warrants for his arrest, surrenderings to the detective, and appearances in court with his attorney. But as he tackled each obstacle, that glimmer of hope seemed to get brighter and brighter for him. Shame began to diminish, and he was once again listening to his heart. Or so I thought. A year ago now, my son Nathaniel went down to the basement, the place that is both hallowed ground and the scary crater that swallowed his life, for it was there where he took his life, 2 weeks after turning 24. That April evening, while looking for him, the stillness was deafening, only to be broken by my calls to God from a place so deep inside it didn't sound like me. But somehow it gave me the strength to get to the second floor. Dialing 911 was an insurmountable task as panic was trying to be an uninvited guest. Shock, on the other hand, She became my friend, my strength. From that moment on, I talked to him, I blessed him. I told him how much I loved him and will always. Kissed him again and again. And told him it was okay. And the days to follow, there was only one take, no do-overs. So with grace, we let him go with as much love and dignity and respect as he so deserved. Then came all of my sleepless days and nights. Oh, how I searched for a letter, a reason, a goodbye. I broke into his cell phone, his computer, and I probably broke every HIPAA law. I was haunted by all the whys, all the guilt, all the desperation I didn't recognize, all the signposts I didn't see, all the smoke screens and veils of deception I was fooled by. Only to realize all the would-haves and should-haves don't matter. What I didn't know or see was just how deep my son was suffering from depression. He kept it so silent and hidden. It crippled him. It kidnapped his words. What I didn't know is he stopped taking his antidepressants, and it stole his stability and his reasoning. He suffered in a place of darkness, filled with shame and secrecy. He was tormented by feelings of failure and hopelessness. And whether it was the depression or a relapse or both that caused him to stop loving himself enough to stay on this earth, that's what matters. I don't think that he was trying to hurt anyone. He just wanted the pain and the thoughts to end. I'm trying not to have his death define me, but it definitely will remain a part of me like an indelible tattoo etched on my soul. Grief camps out on the doorstep of my heart and comes knocking unexpectedly. The journey back is long and difficult and filled with many ups and downs. There are no shortcuts to reach healing. There are no easy remedies to find that new normal. But by sharing his story, it untangles the pain. It sheds light and compassion in hopes to shatter the stigma surrounding mental illness and suicide. It connects us and reminds us that we are not alone. So please, for those of you out there suffering, we cannot hear silence. Let someone know, even if it's one word, help. Please don't be clouded by shame. And if we don't see the signs or hear your whispers, then scream, roar, because you matter. Your health matters. Your life matters. You deserve to be here. My son's story is definitely my grave. It's letting the light in. It's giving his life meaning. It's the badge of courage that I wear. It wasn't the one I wanted to choose, but it is the one I now wear. Cynthia Bond says it beautifully. We were brave enough to live it. We are brave enough to survive it. With hope and awareness, we can and we don't stand alone.